Now, I just mentioned to Ethan that, this goes for everybody in here, if you had any problems doing this, I'd still like you to go on and try to do the last part, but if you do it and it looks like it's hosed, then what I'll do is I'll take my working copy from this morning that's got lessons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10 in it. I will put it on a flash drive, and you can pass it around. Anyone who wants to use it can use it. I don't care. All right? The one thing I forgot to tell you to do last time, and nobody brought it up, but we should all remember this, is we want to go over to Team Explorer. We want to click Change, and one of the files that I gave you in this Lesson 8 stuff was Lesson 8 comments, and here they are. I'm going to cut down the size because it's way too big. But there's the comments that I came up with. I've got 14 of them. All right, so I'm going to do a Control A, Control C. I'm going to come into my code here, go into the comments section, and I'm going to paste that in. You should always be doing this. All right, I mean, again, I'm just going to say it. When you do this and it becomes automatic, no one has to tell you to do it. You just do it. And that's what you should be doing. All right, so I've done that. I'm going to click my Commit All. All right, again, I can go over to Actions, View History, and I can see that the latest one that's up here now is that one. All right. So that's it for Part 8. Like I said, and I want to make sure you all know this. Not all of you were in here when I said this. I'm actually going to look at this and see if I can come up with a way to add both an admin and to add users. If I can do that before 2 weeks from tomorrow, which is your last day, all right, before I do that, all right, I'm going to, or if I do that, I will make it available to all of you, and you can put it in there. I'll give you a final completed part of the package. What's it? You know how to fix it? Okay. And if Ethan fixes it, that's great. I'm not too proud to ask for help. But can you put an admin in there? Just fix.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay. That's fine.
And I probably won't know.
I don't know if any of you care.
I did add those files though, the count files and stuff. But I took them out.
Okay. Let's see. This is the book that will be used the next time this class is taught. Okay? It's a good news, bad news situation. The bad news is I agreed to it having never seen the book in my life. Okay? And CSS, I don't know. One thing I don't like about it, I do look at reviews even when there's a few of them. And when you look here, there's 8 reviews. And when you look, you notice that one of them is 2 stars, which I don't like. But I looked and it says, this book has multiple typos that make it difficult to follow along. Okay, I don't like that. And I read one of the other reviews that said, yeah, a lot of the typos are in the code. Gee, not that that matters. And it's an A-Press book, and A-Press provides all of their code. They do. All right. So the other instructor who's teaching this in St. Louis, not Evan, but the person they hired, Paul Smith, and Paul is a great guy. I've met him only once. Seems really nice, very knowledgeable. But he said, oh, I love this book. And I said, okay. Wasn't the one I suggested, but I'm not going to fight with anybody over anything. And it's going to be interesting because what they have in that book is they have literally a running case study in it. And they are building, it's like maybe it's a cheap version of like Babies R Us. It's a baby store. All right. And you go through it, there's a case study throughout most of the book. That's either going to be really good or it's going to be a flaming failure. All right. He said, yeah, I'm going to have them just put all the stuff in, and that's pretty much what I'm going to have them do for their homework. And I thought, well, you could do that. But to my knowledge, they give you all the code. Okay? So what I'm going to do, what I'm planning on doing for the people in fall, is we're going to do that, and then they're going to build their own as well. All right? We'll see how it works. We're going to do Java for 3 to 4 weeks max, and hopefully less than that. No. You don't have to buy any book for next semester. Okay? You can, but you don't have to. All right? The question is, what are we going to use for Java? I'm not going to use a book. You don't need a book for Java. And for Kotlin, I'm not sure right now. I can show you the books that are going to be used next year for both those classes. All right. In fact, and I'm not sure why. Yes. No, I'm not planning on having you need books for either one. I'll get all the resources from online. All right. But I think they're talking about still using the Android book from Muroc, which I don't like, and then getting a different book for Kotlin. Let's see. No. Kotlin. Smythe. No, come on. Why Smythe? There it is. This is the one that we'll use next year. Android Studio 3.0 Development Essentials. Now, if you want to buy this one, you're more than welcome to buy it. I will not have time between now and the start of the next semester to go through this. I can't tell you if it's a good book or not. I will tell you that I've used the Smythe book before, not for Android development, but for iOS development. The students really liked it because they're, pardon? The ID that we're going to use is it's what is it? It's from I'll tell you in a minute.
Because I have Android Studio, but doesn't have.
We're not going to use Android Studio. We're going to use IntelliJ IDEA. And it's another pig as far as when you load it. It's pretty big. I might even have it. I had it on here, but I don't know if I uninstalled it or not. I was running out of room. Doesn't look like I have it in here anymore. But I had it. I played around with it a little bit. All right. We're going to use Eclipse for about the first month. Then you can get rid of Eclipse. So you'll download it. We're going to write literally. When you come in here day one, I'm going to take attendance. We're going to go over the syllabus, and we're going to start writing programs. All right. That's why, like I said, if we get this done today, and if tomorrow, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, if I can get the stuff working to put this all out on the internet, we'll do that tomorrow. If we can't, we'll do it Friday. But then next week, we'll go through Java. What I'd like to do is start writing those Java programs. Literally, we'll go in and we'll write a bunch of payroll programs. It'll be fairly simplistic, but you'll understand the IDE when we get done, and you'll have at least an elementary understanding of Java. You actually don't need Eclipse. It's the editor I'm going to use. There's other IDEs that you can use. All right, I'm going to use Eclipse. So if you say, well, I'm using, for example, there's if I go in here and I type in Java IDE, it's going to find a lot of them. NetBeans, Eclipse, IntelliJ, BlueJ, etc. So I'm using Eclipse. All right, but if you want to use NetBeans or something else, because some of these are, you get Eclipse for free, and I don't know how big it is, but it's not. Again, it's probably not that small. Now, what I'd rather use would be IntelliJ. All right, but I don't know how to use that with regular Java. I've never used it before. If I have time by the end of the semester, I'll take a look at that. If we can write them all in that, then we're using just one editor. All right, that'd be fine. All right, I'd like to finish this up then and have us go through part 10. That's not real long. As it says, it's final updates to navigation and site design conclusion. They try to tie everything together. I already showed you at the beginning of class what this should look like when we get done. All right? Mine is by no means perfect. The problem is part of the problem is the code that they have you key in is for version 3. We've got some new stuff for version 5, which kind of throws stuff around on the page. It's not going to look as pretty as it does in here, just so you know that. It looks okay, but it's not going to look quite as nifty, so to speak. So as it says, the idea behind this are final updates we want to make. All right, we're trying to make it look a little bit nicer. What does that mean? All right, that means that if you remember, at the end of chapter 9, if you click on a genre, what it does is it just gives you a bulleted list of every single album that's in that genre. Now, instead of doing that, it's going to give you a bulleted or a list of these up here. That's supposed to be an album cover. All right, so we're going to do that. Now, notice creating the shopping cart summary partial view, as we talked about before. When you create this view, make sure you choose partial view, because if you don't, it becomes a full view. That isn't what we want. All right? So it says we want to expose the number of items in the user shopping cart across the entire site. We can implement this by using a partial view, which is added to our site.master. We don't even have a site.master. What is I'm asking you this. Somebody should be able to answer this. What is the equivalent of our site.master? There is a file. _layout.cshtml. That's pretty much our site master. All right. So it says, bring this up here. Page 3. There. As shown previously, the shopping cart controller includes a cart summary action which contains a partial view. Well, what they're saying in English is you already have this. The thing that's on the screen right here, this thing, you've already got this. All right. So it says we've already got in here, okay, cart summary, but we don't have a view that goes along with that. All right, so what I'd like you to do, if you look up on the screen here, is bring up your shopping cart controller. So under controllers, close some of this stuff. Under controllers, bring up the shopping cart controller. All right. And let's go down to where it's got that view that's way down at the bottom. This cart summary. Everybody see this? All right. Again, we're in shopping cart controller.cs, and we're at the bottom of that file. Let's right mouse click where it says partial view right there and choose add view. Well, that's interesting. Of course, it's not supposed to work like that, but it did. I'm not going to do that. Well, maybe it's going to add stuff here. See that? This happened to me this morning like that. And again, part of this problem is the fact that I'm using this along with using Camtasia. And there are so many problems with using Camtasia with almost any other kind of software. All right. Try it again. Add view. There. That's what you want. Is that what you've got? Good. All right. So, cart summary. First thing we want. All right. We want this to be created as a partial view. So make sure that is checked. You'll notice that once that's checked, we can't use anything else here. All right. And click Add. Now they mention here, it says the view is pretty simple. Please look up on the screen here because it says it's this. The funny thing is, separating like they did over a bunch of lines, it broke it. As soon as I removed all the line breaks, it worked just fine. You've already got this file. It's only a line of code, but in your stuff, but this is under the lesson 10 folder, not the lesson 8. All right. And cart summary partial view.cshtml. That's it. So if that was too much for you to handle, if I did it too fast or whatever, I'm just going to paste it in and I'm going to shrink this down so that you can see it all. Do you need what? I'm sorry. You shouldn't have to do anything, not that I remember. All right. But this is the line of code that you will need for this. Right there. I realize it's kind of small, all right, but I put it in one line. When I broke it up into 4 lines like they show it on the handout, I had problems with it. When I did it like this, it worked just fine. Notice there's nothing here. There's no red, so it's not giving me any error. If that's too hard to read, I can put the other one up and make that bigger. I can't make this bigger without, you won't be able to see all of it on the screen then. And again, I'll run mine, the one I did this morning, the one that works, just to show you that indeed it all works. Then if anybody wants that one when we're all done, it's fine. You can have it. Amin, can I ask you, and I know that it's on the sheet for your portfolio, um, when you are doing your form, remember that software that you used to create that form for you? And what was that called? Do you remember?
The website is
Jot?
Mhm.
Okay. Tiffany, did you hear that? That's probably what you want to do when you're going to build that for JC. Go out to jotform.com, J-O-T form.com. And it's set up usually so you can create a form very quickly. It's a lot of drag and drop. Okay. Has everybody got a chance to put this in? All right. So I'm going to go on then. So we're told here you can include a partial view in any page in the site, including the master, by using the render action method. We're not going to do this now. Please look on the screen. Don't do this yet. We're going to do this later, but that's how you could do it. All right? So it says, before we add this to the site layout, we want to create a genre menu so that we can make all of our master updates at one time. We kind of already have that, but that's just on our main page. We don't have this on every page. So we are told to go in and add this genre menu. All right. It says we will follow the same steps to create a genre partial view, and then we can add them both to the site master. First, add the following genre menu controller action to our store controller. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go over to the store controller in here. So you can open up your store controller. It's probably already open. I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to add that. So in your store controller, add this particular, down at the bottom. Really, the order in which you put those doesn't matter. That's about as big as I can make it, it looks like. All right? So again, this is in our storecontroller.cs file. And it's down at the very bottom. It is the new last method in that particular file. And again, I gave you this, so if you are a slow typist, you can just copy it in as well. All the code that's in here, I've given you a copy of. All right, now, please look up on the screen here, because the author says, this action returns a list of genres which are displayed in the partial view. So this is saying, go through the database and find every genre that's in there. That's what that line in blue is saying. This one is saying, display them as the view that gets returned. All right? Now, finally, because the author has used it before, but the author finally mentions in here, talks about that child action only. This thing that has been used before but has never been explained. It says it indicates that we want this action to only be used from a partial view. I want to say something to you that I want you to hear this. All right? There is a way, I don't remember what it is, but there is a way that if you try to run this site and you try to bring up certain files that you try to run it onto certain files where you shouldn't run it, where you get an error up automatically, there is a way that you can set up your application so that when I run it, so I come through here and I run this thing, okay? And for example, if I come through here and I'm just going to run it right now. Don't worry, you don't have to do this, but if you watch here. So if I go in there and I run this, okay, that all looks okay, all right? That looks fine. But if I go in here and I go to here and I go to browse, see how I get an error? Because it's expecting still that genre to be put in there. Okay? So it's not, the error is what I want to do is I want to go to store and then I want to browse. Everybody see what I'm talking about? There is a way to set it up in here that if I go through here and I just go in and I immediately go store browse like this, that instead of running and giving an error, you can refuse to run the page. I don't remember what that is. And it's changed from the way that, the version that I use. I have to try to remember to look that up. The reason I'm bringing that up to you is what we are creating right now is a partial view. Did everybody hear that? You can't put in a partial view right here and run it because it's partial. It needs the rest of the program to work. So we just put in this partial view that is called what? Or we're going to put it in. It's going to be called like genre, genre or something like that. But if you try to run that, since it's partial, it won't work. All right. And what that has to do with what we're talking about is what the author says here. Child action only means this stuff only works with a partial view. It says it prevents the controller from being executed by browsing to this. Maybe that is what I'm looking for. All right. So if we go over to store genre menu like that, it says this isn't required for partial views, but it's a good practice. What you're going to find if you work on a website, there will be people that once they go out to your site that will look at what's in your URL and they'll try to figure out what's happening. Some of those people are naughty people that are trying to do things they shouldn't do, like see if they can order a whole bunch of stuff and not pay anything for it or pay almost nothing for it. Okay? There was, I don't know if you saw this, there was a thing, boy, I'm getting myself into trouble because I keep referencing Facebook. But there was a thing on Facebook that I saw the other day that there is a woman, this is what was on the story, that she has supposedly gotten over $1 million worth of merchandise from Walmart and is paid it paid much less than pennies on the dollar. And what she did was her and her mother went in and grabbed the code, the barcodes for things that were on sale really cheap, and they were putting those, like they'd put it over a TV barcode or whatever, and instead of paying $1,000 for a TV, now they're paying $1.50. All right, and of course they got caught. We want to make sure that you don't browse to some place that you shouldn't. And if you try to, that you get an error message. All right. Now, if you look up on the screen, please, what we want to do with where we just are, now we can right mouse click on partial view, choose add view. So right mouse click what you just put in there on the word partial view and choose add view. All right. Now, for this one, because one of you just asked a question before, this one we do have to choose empty. This one, we do want the model class filled in, and we want it to be the genre class. I don't think we need to put in a data context. I don't know if it matters. In fact, I think I put it in and it gave me an error. And then when I took it out, it worked. So I think it should look just like this. All right. Make sure the create a partial view is checked. If you don't, it becomes a full view. That's not what you want. If you did that by accident, remove that file and recreate it. All right, so I'm clicking add here. You notice there sure as heck is not much in there. All right, well, we have to add not much, about 10 lines of code, but I don't want to add it. So this is genre. Thought I gave it to you. Partial view for layout, genre menu. Maybe it's genre menu 2, I don't know. Yeah, that's it right there. It's called genre menu 2 on yours. All right, if you want to go and just not key it in. Okay, this is what you want to put in there. Right there. So you can either copy it or you can add it yourselves. Anybody see my error? Anybody see my error? Okay, that at least fixed that one. How about here? Get out of sign, group to anonymous type property. I think I had this before, but whatever it was, I know it was fixed. What's that? I know it got fixed. So I'm not going to worry about it. Enumerable, MVC music store, .models, .genre. I'm checking here. It all looks the same to me. Oh, now it's gone. All right. We're still not ready to run it. Because what we're about to do is we're about to update that underscore layout.cs HTML file. And this is probably going to take till around 3:15, and then we'll be done for the period. So you can take yourselves a long break after that. But I'd like to finish this now. All right, and we're 30 minutes in, so about 30 more minutes, I would guess. have you guys made any more progress on, have you done any more work on the project for her, for the EDC?
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Okay, because remember, she's a week from Friday, she's going to be here. And the hope was to turn it over to her at that time with whatever is done. So, and Ethan, I take it you put that field in? No? Are
No.
you going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. The next thing that we want to do here is we want to bring up the underscore layout.cshtml file. So if you would please bring up the file underscore layout.cshtml. Remember that is under shared. Okay, it's under the shared folder. Okay. This is where mine, I don't know if it's in this file or if it's in the CSS or if it's in a combination thereof. When we run this, what we want to have happen is we want on the left-hand side, we want it to show us those 10 genres. Then to the right of that, and the rest of that page, we want it to fill in all of those albums. But mine, the way that it's set up, instead of doing that, it puts the albums down below the 10 genres. So again, it's either a CSS error or it's something in this file. All right, I just didn't take the time to figure it out. All right, is everybody caught up then? All right, so I'm going to bring that file up, the underscore layout.cshtml file. Now the big problem here, if you look up on the screen, is they say, okay, we're going to update the site layout. Here's the whole file. No, it's not. Because this is back in MVC 3, they didn't have any bootstrap support. All right. So I went in and kind of just played with it a little bit. So my recommendation to you, all right, please listen, my recommendation to you is with this file that's right here, you just replace that file with the one that I've given you. All right, so in other words, you go over into the what I gave you here. There's, where is it? I know it's here. There it's for underscore layout.cshtml. All right, and this just replaced the body section. So go down from the beginning body tag that's in here right now. Okay, so go down to your beginning body tag, highlight all of that, everything that's in there. Before I do it, I want to make sure. Okay, and then replace that with the file that I gave you. Right? This is by no means perfect. Not only does it not have the ability to have an admin and to have users and to register, but there could be other things in here that are quirky compared to the original one. All right? And it's funny, there's been, you can go out on the Stack Overflow and you can check, there are a lot of people who have said, how come you guys never updated the ASP.NET MVC Music Store? And there's never been a complete answer as to why. Because we didn't? That's not really an answer. All right? Or it's a smart aleck answer if it is. This doesn't look very good. Okay, the next thing that we're told to do in here is to update the store browse page. It says the store browse page is functional, but it doesn't look good. We can update it to show the albums in a better layout. In fact, the idea is when we run it, this again is what it should look like. Everybody see this? This is what it should look like. The one that I'm giving you, if you use mine or if you follow the instructions that I've been giving, that instead of this stuff right here being where it is, it's down here. So the beginning of it, rather than class album, it literally is like right in here. See that? Other than that, it works the same. It still works, but there's a problem with the format. All right. All right. So that file, and I'm just wondering if before we actually may have updated the wrong file. I don't know. Because what we're told next is to go to the store browse page. All right. It says the store browse page is functional, so we want to go to browse.cshtml. So let's look. So I thought we already updated that. Store browse.cshtml. See, that isn't what they show. All right, so I'm wondering if this right here, when we did this, if that was maybe store controller that we should, or something that we should have done. I don't know. But it says that we want to update the store browse page, which is this. It's under store, and there's browse. All right, and it says what we want to put in here is the stuff that's shown right here. Again, that's quite a bit to type. So I've got here someplace, I think this is it, but I'll double check. Browse albums, yeah, I think that's it. That's what we're supposed to put in. Now that's a lot to type. So if you want to, you can go over to Store Browse, highlight all of it. All right, this again, it's got to be a big MVC. All right, go in there and you can highlight all of it, and then you can replace it with the handout or the thing I gave you that says browse.cshtml. Okay, I have a question for you. If I go in and type in this, so let's I don't care what my port is. So let's say that my port is 12345. All right, and I type in that, and I just hit enter. Everybody with me? Okay. What controller is running? Yeah, what controller is running? There'll be an indexed file that will run from what controller? Yes. So everything else that you're supposed to do in here involves you updating the home controller. Right? So if you bring up the home controller, which is under our controllers, all right, and it's home controller, well, right now it's not doing a whole heck of a lot. But if you go over to what I gave you, you'll notice there's home controller right there. All right, and if you open that up, that's got quite a bit more in it. All right, so I'm going to do a Control A, Control C, and I'm going to replace everything that currently is in my controller with that. All right. I'm getting errors. I didn't get any kind of errors this morning, so like I said, I'll show you the one in action in just a minute. We also need to update the index. So after you've updated the home controller, go down to Home under Views, find your index.cshtml file, which looks like this. Again, doesn't do very much right now. All right. Then go to what I gave you, find your home controller index file, open that up, Control A, Control C, and paste that in. Oops. There it is. Now, I already can tell I had an error in mine. I don't know what the problem is. But like I said, what I want to do is to just show you this. All right? And that is, this is the way my completed one looks. If you take a look up on the screen right here. All right? Give it 30 seconds to take a look up on the screen. All right, I'm just going to go and I'm going to run this. This is an index.cshtml, so it should work. So this is what it looks like. Please look on the screen. This thing is supposed to be at the top of the screen. This is one of those images that we added earlier. That's supposed to be up here. It's not. I can shrink it down, and once I shrink it down, it starts looking the way it should look. See that? Still not perfect, but that's the way it should look. What we have in here are the 5 best-selling albums right now. So now notice if I go to pop, all right, we've got 2 albums. I'll click on the first one here. Yes, I want to put it in my cart. There it is. All right. I can go to disco. I can go to find Ring My Bell and put that in the cart. All right. I can go to alternative, find something, put that in the cart. And you can see that it is filling up my cart. You can see that it is adding to the final total. All right. And if I remove something from the cart, it just removes it. Does everybody get that? You are not asked to, when you remove it. So if you remove the wrong one, it's your responsibility to go back in there and add it again. All right. But it all does work. The number's been updated here. I even changed this because they had theirs said built with ASP.NET MVC 3, so I changed it to 5. Notice it tells me what I've got in the cart, 2 items. I can go back to the store. I can go back to home. The only thing that's non-operational is that admin area. It's going to spin for a while and it's going to give me an error. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab this right here, which is my working copy of this. All right, so it's lesson 10 and it's Ethan's MVC music store. All right, I will take that right now and I will put it on a flash drive. If you want it, just take it and copy it to your system and pass it on. If you don't want it, just pass it on. Oh, and the only other thing we didn't do in here, I guess, was what? We didn't put in our comments, which again, we really should do. I don't even know if I put in any for chapter 10. Did I give you any? No. So you can go in and add your own comments. All right, so you should really go back then, go back into here. Once you've got it done, go to Team Explorer, click on Changes, and put some comments in there. Okay? So, I don't have any in mind, but that's tough. Double check. Make sure this is the right one. Looks like it is. Okay, looks good to me. Okay, so I added a folder onto this flash drive, and it says completed MVC music store. This doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. So please use the completed one. All right? So I'll just, like I said, I'll pass it on. If you don't want it, just pass it to the person next to you, please. They might be able to. Now, I just want you to know this. You've heard this before. I'm going to say it again. Where are we here? All right. I'm going to change this, but just so you see this, you don't have to look at me, but please listen to this. This is the most important part of this class. As I told you, what I want you to do, at a minimum, is you're going to have links to 4 different projects. The first project that you're going to link to is going to be a web form. It's going to be that loan test web form. When I say that, does everybody in here know what I'm talking about? It's the second test we took when we did that web form project on the loan thing, and you had to add the form to it with all the validation, etc. You must link to that one. Second, the MVC to do. Third, the MVC Rankin one, or student one, or whatever you want to call it. 4 is what we're just finishing, the MVC music store. All right? That's what you're adding new to your portfolio for this time around. If you want to add more things other than that, you can. All right? Yeah, we still have to talk about how you actually upload that. Don't worry about that right now. But this is what I want to tell you. If all of these work, so if I can, when you upload all of them, if they all work, especially this one, I don't care if it's my copy or your copy, but if it works, you get 100 points for this particular assignment. And some of you who maybe aren't getting the grades you're used to or want to get, that might help pull you up. All right? That's not your portfolio grade. That is your grade for this project. That's how I'm grading it. Because we did it as a class, so the grade is going to be, were you able to upload it, and does it work when somebody goes to it from the internet? Does that make sense? All right. So again, what you're going to do in here, I don't care, because a couple people asked, I think Tiffany asked this the other day, you can go back and totally redo your portfolio if you want. You can do it in Bootstrap, you can do it in HTML, you can do it in Visual Studio. All right? You can do it in Mobirise, you can do it in whatever you want to do it in. But if you don't like the way it looks and you want to redo it, that's fine. You will have Monday the 18th, Tuesday the 19th, Wednesday the 20th, Thursday the 21st to work on it. I have to have grades in, all right, in the morning on the 22nd. So I would like all work, anything that you want to turn into me, turned in by 8 p.m. on the 21st. It's your last day. No, I'm 99.9% sure May 11th, and graduation is the 12th. Yeah, that's how it was last year, and that's how I think it's going to be. No clue what that means. To my knowledge, it's that day. May 9th? Okay, I'll take your word for it. And I think I told you already, I think it's funny. Evan's getting married on that day. Not him, not that he knows of. But Evan in St. Louis is getting married on that day. This is graduation day. I hope that one or more of you are going to go to the graduation too. You know, I would never try to force you to go. You don't have to. You'll still get your diploma even if you don't go. But because I heard it's going to be really, this is what I heard. It's going to be a mean graduation. That's the rumor at least. What do you think? I mean, does that sound right? Yeah. But we'll talk about this some more. And by Friday, um, Evan in St. Louis has guaranteed me that he's checking out all of your uh, links to the Rankin server to make sure they all work. All right, so I should have that back from him by Friday by the time you get into class.